Thank you, Chet. Good afternoon, everybody. Woo, it feels good to see this site. So many people gathered at the state capitol. I got to be honest, as a young man growing up in Pacoima, California, Latino, son of immigrants, proud son of immigrants, I didn't think this was possible. And I'm not referring to the fact that I could stand here before you as a constitutional officer in the state of California. I'm talking about seeing not hundreds, but thousands of Californians from some of the most challenged parts of the state of California here to tell the legislature loud and clear what we need. Because when I was growing up in a community that was impacted by high poverty rates, underfunded schools, lack of good air quality where we lived, on and on and on, some of the same issues that you're advocating for, we kind of kept waiting for our elected leaders to come around and listen to us, come around and respond to us. And then something incredible happened in California history. In 1994, Proposition 187 appeared on the ballot. A lot of the older organizers here remember 1994 and Proposition 187. The young people who are here who may not know what Prop 187 is or was, all the rhetoric we're hearing about immigrants and immigration in our country today was the state of California in 1994. We had the same debate, the same anti-immigrant rhetoric, and that is when I learned, when my community learned that we can't sit around and wait for our leaders to come to us. We can't wait for them to come listen to what we have to say. A lot of times, we have to go to them. We have to tell them what we think. We have to tell them what our communities need. And that's what you're doing right here. Not just on the steps of the Capitol, but inside the Capitol, in the hallways, in the committee rooms, in their offices. That is the power of this gathering of thousands here today. And that is why I'm so excited. But I'm also here to give a little bit of homework. I'm also here to give a little bit of homework because it's not just today and then going home. It's each and every day, and especially on election day, when we need to make sure our voices are heard, regardless of the concern that you most care about. Is it clean water? Is it clean air? Is it health care for all? Is it school funding? Whatever the issue is, I guarantee you that the reason our community has it tough is because we aren't registered to vote as much as others. We're not getting out to vote as much as other communities do. So to solve these policy issues, we need to also empower our community politically to raise our voices and make sure that it's heard. So we got to register. We got to get increased turnout. That's what I've been dedicated to as Secretary of State, not just promoting online registration. Tell your friends they can go online if they're eligible and register to vote. But come April, we're going to start automatic voter registration in California through the DMV and register millions more voters throughout the state. And we're making it easier for people who are registered to vote to actually cast the ballot. More vote by mail, real in-person early voting, more choices of when, where, and how to cast the ballot. So we make sure our voices are heard in each and every election. But the other bit of homework I need to give you before I end is this. This is 2018, it's an election year. You know that. 2020, the next presidential election year. You know that. But in 2020, we're going to have another census. The census that happens every 10 years that determines federal funding for the state of California for healthcare, for education, for housing, for infrastructure. A census that determines our representation in Congress. And there is an attack by this administration on the 2020 census already. They're under funding preparations. They don't have a permanent director for the census, and now they're wanting to question the citizenship status of every resident in California and the country. And we know what's going to happen if they do that. They're going to decrease participation rates, which hurts California when it comes to funding, and hurts California when it comes to our voice in Congress. And we can't stand for that. We need to push back against the citizenship question on the census. We need to fight for funding for census preparation and testing. And we need to support Governor Brown and his budget for census outreach and education, because in the 2020 census, every Californian counts. Our children count, our workers count, our veterans count, and yes, our immigrants count too. Thank you very much.